Okay, so we'll start from Cole's reaction. Basically, Cole's reaction, it will be whenever so till now we studied all about aliphatic alcohols, and now we are discussing the reaction of phenols, basically, right?
Right, sir.
Yeah. So the Cole reaction comes for phenol. So in case of phenol, let's suppose you are having something phenoxide ion. They are saying what? They are saying if you have a phenoxide ion that is generated by treating phenol with sodium. We already studied if we have OH and I will react with NaOH. So what will happen? The H2O will go up and Na will just connect.
Na will come, yeah.
So we will basically get something like this. Here O minus and Na plus, correct?
Yeah.
Now they are saying once you are getting this is more reactive than phenol. Why? Because here you can see you are already getting a
more
negative.
ionic, more electronegativity difference.
Correct. Here once is the more electronegativity difference. The other thing is here on oxygen already you are having 2 lone pair, correct? But
yeah,
extra 2 electrons also it has.
right.
1 electron which was bonded to this OH bond. Oxygen was having 1 electron, hydrogen was having 1, right? Now oxygen took 1 extra electron from hydrogen, means total 2 electron, correct? So total 8 electrons, 6 electrons around oxygen which are not bonded to anyone. That means it will behave more nucleophiles, correct?
Yeah.
So any electrophile of E plus or which is electron deficient, it can quickly go and donate. That's why they are saying the phenoxide ion is more reactive than phenol towards electrophilic aromatic substitution. Hence, it undergoes electrophilic substitution with carbon dioxide. A weak electrophile like orthohydroxy benzoic acid is formed as the main reaction product. So we'll see the reaction. Now, the first thing we are trying to do is we are getting a phenoxide ion. Why we are getting phenoxide ion? Because this is not enough or this is not sufficient to directly react with this.
Okay.
So with the help of phenoxide ion, what we are trying to achieve here, we are going to now, this is more reactive, right? And if you see CO2 structure is something like this, right?
Yes, sir.
So the lone pair here, it will try to attack this carbon. Why? Because this carbon is already bonded to 2 oxygen and they are trying to pull the electron. So this is delta plus sufficiently. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is one more possibilities. Whether this will attack here or it will activate the benzene ring.
Via resonance?
Correct. Because if the electron will available at oxygen, then only it can be donated to carbon, correct?
Yeah.
But the electrons are already in resonance with the benzene ring.
Which is technically it's been activated the whole time, right?
Correct.
Because the resonance was always there.
Correct. That's why this oxygen won't directly attack the CO2. Because its electrons are already, see, even the time when CO2 was not there, that time also it is already in resonance, correct?
Sorry, sir, just give me one. Sorry, sir, can you repeat? There's some background noise.
Yeah. I was saying ki suppose this.
Oh no, sir, I remembered you were saying that would it attack the carbon or would it like activate the benzene ring because it's already in resonance?
Correct. Suppose CO2 is not there. So in that case also oxygen electrons are not present with oxygen. That's what I meant to say.
Oh,
Means
yeah.
it's already been in resonance. Like I can give you example that suppose you are staying in a apartment, right? And in that apartment you are having like 5 storage building. That apartment is 5 stories. And you have to, like, your flat is on 4th floor. Okay. But the thing is, you have some friends, they are staying at 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, and ground floor, and some stays in 5th floor also. So, and you used to frequently visit their flats, right? Suppose I want to meet you. So if I will come to directly to your flat, what is the probability that I will find you there? The probability will be divided, right?
Right, yeah.
That means you are not localized. You are getting delocalized with all the 5 flats there, right?
So that's what makes more sense for like the oxygen to not give the electron to carbon, because it doesn't have the localized electrons anyway.
Correct. It's not having the localized electron. That's the correct term. So because the electrons are getting delocalized over the benzene ring, so we are getting negative charge on ortho and para. Correct.
Yes, sir. So then
So from
the
ortho,
carboxyl,
yeah, from ortho it will attack.
No, so why won't it form like ortho plus para, and the para will be like some minor product or something?
Why the para is going to form minor? That's what I am trying to say. So first it will try to attack from ortho, and one more product it can form from para also.
Yeah, that's also, it will form, right?
Yeah. So this will be OH and this will be COH. Now, why they are mentioning ortho only? That means ortho is the major one. Why it is major? Because
Hydrogen bonding?
yeah, correct. Because here we have one hydrogen and here we are having oxygen, or here we are having hydrogen and here we are having oxygen. So
it will be really strong because there's like, yeah,
it can have 2 hydrogen bonding, that is intramolecular.
Yeah.
Correct. No, because 2 hydrogen, so 2 hydrogen bonding. So this will be really strong. That's why this will be more as a major product and this is a minor product, and we are not forming this. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Next, the next reaction. So Coles electrolysis, this is Coles reaction, not electrolysis. This is Coles reaction. Coles electrolysis we will study in carboxylic acid.
Okay, sir.
So in Coles reaction, phenoxide ion, it is treated with CO2 to introduce a carboxylic acid to the benzene. That's what you have to remember. If I want to go from phenol and introduce a carboxylic acid to the ortho position, I should go with Coles reaction. So Coles reaction is nothing but Ca2 in presence of H+. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. Rimmer-Timon reactions. See why they gave H+, like if this is reacting with CO2, what it is forming? It will try to react. So this oxygen will go, this will become O-, correct? And later on, it will face this H and it
will... yeah, you'll form COH. Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay. Now, next one is Rimmer-Timon reaction. So Rimmer-Timon reaction on treating phenol with chloroform. Chloroform is nothing but CaCl3 in the presence of aqueous sodium hydroxide. So a CHO group. So here, Coles electrolysis, we are getting what at the final product? We are introducing COH group, a carboxylic acid to the benzene ring. Here we are introducing a aldehyde group to the benzene ring. That is the difference.
Right. So then basically in the first one you have CO2, but in the second one you have aqueous NaOH.
Correct. And here we are going to have only one hydrogen bonding. In this case, we are having 2 hydrogen bonding. Why one hydrogen bonding? Because
so why? Because we have H and O and then H and O.
But this hydrogen connected to a carbon, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So for hydrogen bonding, hydrogen has to be connected to oxygen, nitrogen, or fluorine.
Okay. Right.
So now, if you see the first thing, if you will have OH and aqueous NaOH. So aqueous NaOH we are using what? Because it will have OH minus and Na plus. Correct. That means it will create the phenoxide ion.
Right. Oh, so it's the same mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once phenoxide ion is there, now here what we are having? We are having CaCl3, right? That means 3 chlorine are connected to carbon. So carbon will be more delta plus.
Yes, sir.
Hydrogen and these are chlorines. So carbon will be more delta plus. If carbon is getting more delta plus, that means carbon will behave like a perfect electrophile, right? So from the ortho position and para position, we are having negative charge because of the phenoxide ion. It is activating the benzene ring towards electrophilic substitution reaction.
Right.
So it will attack.
Okay.
Once it is attacked, chlorine is what? Chlorine is a very good leaving group. So chlorine will go off.
Oh, that's why hydrogen won't go, because chlorine is the better leaving group than hydrogen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it will become CHCl2.
Yeah.
Now just think, you are having C, H, Cl, Cl. Now you are having NaOH. So Na plus and OH minus, correct? If you have
Yeah.
OH minus, what the OH minus will do? It will again try to connect such that chlorine will go up as Cl minus and they will form a product with Na plus, correct?
NaCl, yeah.
So now what I am having? I am having C, H, Cl and OH, correct? But still
Yeah.
chlorine now again another one.
And then H plus and then the Cl will react with H plus.
No.
Oh,
Here
okay.
again another OH minus will come.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it will form like C single bond hydrogen. Here one OH, here one OH. Now if a molecule have two OH, what will be the reaction possibility?
It'll become like either the group will go or it'll become like a double bond, and yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like this, right?
Exactly.
So it will be
Yeah,
like
exactly.
H. This is went off and it will become double bond and one hydrogen and it
So
became
it'll get oxidized basically. Yeah.
correct. Then this hydrogen it will lose and it will finally get what? CHO. Understood
Cool.
from
Yeah,
here,
got it.
from here to here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
And now you are getting H plus, so this will try to take this O minus will try to take that H plus. Sorry.
We'll take the yeah.
And it will become OH. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So
No, wait, so the H plus, but wouldn't like the O minus H plus like electronegativity be less than O and Na plus?
O minus H plus electronegativity is, but here they are forming a coordinate bond. See this Na plus, it is just staying, it is not reacting with O minus.
Right. Oh, so it's not actually ionically bonded. It's just like
Correct.
there. Okay, fine. But the OH will be like a proper bond.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So here they are saying the reaction is known as Riemann-Timon reaction. The intermediate substituted benzyl chloride. This is the intermediate substituted benzyl chloride, because here we are having what? We are having chlorines, right? So this is a benzyl chloride. It is getting hydrolyzed in the presence of alkali to produce salicylaldehyde. So you have to remember this is called salicylic acid and this is called salicylaldehyde.
Yes, sir.
The common name you have to remember.
Okay, sir, I'll make a list.
Okay. Next.
So will we be able to finish the chapter by this week, like by tomorrow?
Yeah, we will cover it, no?
Okay, cool, sir.
So till now we had 3 classes, right? 3 or 2?
4.
This is the 4th class, right?
No, this is the 5th.
But I uploaded total 3 lectures from alcohol.
But then I think one lecture you didn't upload. I don't. Okay, I might be getting confused. Sorry. No, sir, because I was revising it the other day, but I couldn't do the questions because the chapter wasn't complete. So I was just asking.
Achha.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is reaction of phenol with zinc dust. So basically, whenever we are having zinc is what? Zinc is a metal, right? So it will get oxidized. So it will oxidize in the sense it will see like if there is a oxygen, so ZNO will form and this H will just combine with this.
Right, because like zinc is positive and like the O will like attack it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So phenol is converted to benzene. So you have to remember, like if you have phenol, I want benzene, then I will go for zinc. If I have phenol and I want to form this salicylaldehyde, then I will go with Riemann-Timon reaction. If I have phenol and I have to go to salicylic acid, then I have to go with
CO2.
Kolsch.
Right, yeah. No, so does it have to be zinc or can it be any metal?
Generally, zinc is favorable because if you will study D block element, there we will study like why zinc is favorable.
Okay, cool, sir.
Next is oxidation, right? Can you read what it says?
Oxidation of phenol with chromic acid produces a conjugated diketone known as benzoquinone. In the presence of air, phenols are slowly oxidized to dark colored mixtures containing quinones.
Correct. So here they are saying if we are having phenol and we are using what? Na2Cr2O7.
That's a really strong oxidizing agent, right?
Yeah, that is sodium dichromate.
Yeah.
Like we are using potassium dichromate, right? K2Cr2O7.
Yeah.
That is also a strong oxidizing agent.
Strong. Yeah.
Similarly, Na2Cr2O7 in presence of that. Why we are using NO? Because we are going to use O minus Na plus.
Oh,
which
so
is-
again the phenoxide will be formed.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And later on, we don't have to discuss this reaction mechanism. It is like out of syllabus. They won't ask. So in presence of acidic medium, it will form benzoquinone. See here, you just see now this part is important. It is not a benzene anymore.
Right.
Because sometimes no, they will ask and you don't like properly see this structure. You will just write, okay, sir, I will get something like this. This is a benzene, and here double bond, and here. Then you will understand, hey, how come I can get a double bond? Because benzene,
Right. Makes sense. Which so, sir, is just like this. This is like non-aromatic, right?
yeah, this is non-aromatic.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not non. This is anti-aromatic.
No, that's what even I was wondering. But then, how does it even like? Isn't that really unstable?
This one,
Yeah.
but it gains the stability because here it is also sp2. Here also it is sp2.
Okay.
All are planar. You see, it is planar, but 4n rule because 2 pi bonds. So 2 into 2, 4. That means 4n rule it is satisfying.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay.
So
got
if
it.
4n rule satisfies and it is planar, then it's called anti-aromatic. If
Okay.
it is not planar, directly we can say it is non-aromatic.
Non-aromatic.
Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Predict the major product of the acid catalyzed dehydration. Butanol. Okay. Can you try?
Acid catalyzed dehydration, like the first one.
Okay. First draw butanol, then you can easily understand. They are saying this is butanol, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they are saying acid catalyzed hydration means H plus, that is the acid, and they are saying what? Dehydration means removal of H2.
Water, yeah.
That means what? Here it will try to react with H plus.
Yeah.
So what will happen? It will become
H2.
OH2. Yeah,
And-
H2, it will go off.
And become a double bond.
And you get a positive charge here, right?
Yeah.
And if you are getting a positive charge, this is a primary carbocation, right?
Yeah.
That means the possibility it will go for rearrangement.
Yeah, that's it's like the hydride shift. Okay. Yeah.
That means the double bond you are going to get here. Means
Right. So that's the major product. Okay. Yeah.
one of the hydrogen will go off from here and it will form a double bond. That will be the
Okay.
Any
Okay.
doubt?
No, I got it.
Next, some commercially important alcohols. So methanol and ethanol are among the two. Yeah, please go ahead. Please read.
It's just theory, right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Methanol CH3OH, also known as wood spirit, was produced by destructive distillation of wood. Today, most of the methanol is produced by catalytic hydrogenation of carbon monoxide at high pressure and temperature in the presence of ZnOCr2O3 catalyst. Methanol is a colorless liquid and boils at 337 Kelvin. It's highly poisonous in nature. Ingestion of even small quantities of methanol can cause blindness, and large quantities cause even death. Methanol is used as a solvent in paints, varnishes, and chiefly for making formaldehyde.
Okay. Next, I don't think so. Anything will be there. Any doubt here?
No, sir, it's just theory. I can do this on my own. You could skip it.
Then we'll go to ethers then. Yeah, please read also this one, okay? Like
Yeah, for sure, sir. For sure, yeah.
Okay, next is ether. So till now what we covered? We covered alcohol, right? So alcohol is nothing but C and OH bond, right?
Yeah.
Single bond. Then we studied about, so this is aliphatic. Aliphatic means where there is no aromatic ring. Then
Right.
we studied about aromatic. That
Phenol.
comes out to be phenol. So alcohol, phenol, done. Next is ether. Why ether? Because ether is also a kind of carbon
COC.
oxygen single bond.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we are studying ether in this. Otherwise, we should not study. Like only three things, no? Carbon, oxygen, single bond, comes in ethers, alcohols, and phenols.
Right. The next chapter will be double bonds, like carboxyls and stuff. Yeah, sir.
So alcohol undergoes dehydration in the presence of protic acids like H2SO4, H3PO4. Those are called protic acid. So what is protic acid? Any idea?
They can like don't they can give H. They can like release H.
Any H they are releasing means they are acid, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, sir, I don't know. So, are you saying something?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, were you saying something?
Yeah. I was saying like why it is called protic. Sorry, there might be some gap in internet.
No problem, sir. No problem. Yeah, sir. Can you please repeat? Yeah.
Yeah. So there is something called protic solvent and aprotic solvent. And protic acid means you are correct. Like if they are releasing H plus ion in any solution, means any solution in the sense, let's suppose H2SO4, I will react with H2O. That means this H2O will become H3O plus. If they are making aqueous like H2O to H3O plus, means this is called oxonium, right?
Yeah. No, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Means because of the presence of H2O, oxygen will try to take away one of the hydrogen from H2SO4 or it may be H3PO4. That means ultimately they are also releasing H plus, right?
Right.
We are calling them
Isn't it called hydronium?
H plus ion. If they are releasing H plus ion, we used to say hydronium.
Oh, okay. So this is oxonium. Okay. Okay.
Next, the formation of reaction product like alkene or ether depends on the reaction conditions. For example, ethanol is dehydrated to ethene in the, so this reaction is important, okay? So ethanol, they are saying dehydrated to ethene in presence of H2SO4, but the temperature is high.
Okay. So if it's 413, it'll be an ether, but if it's like a little higher, it'll be ethene.
Okay. Now my question is why?
I'm guessing if the temperature, I don't know, I'm probably wrong, but
Yeah, you can be, no sure.
if the temperature is high, then like the CO bonds will break,
CO bonds will break.
like
Correct.
in the ether, and then it'll form a double bond because that's more strong. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we are correct. So if you give high temperature, so what will, if you won't measure the temperature and directly give like 500 degrees Celsius, so what will happen? So this carbon and oxygen bond that will break fast because oxygen OH will go as a living group. Why? Then you can ask, sir, why carbon and oxygen? Why not carbon and hydrogen? Why carbon and oxygen? Why carbon and hydrogen bond not breaking? Because carbon oxygen bond might be strong, no? Between carbon.
Isn't like the electronegativity difference less? Okay, no. The carbon hydrogen bond is covalent.
Correct. But carbon oxygen bond electronegativity difference is there. That is more.
Yeah.
And it will behave like a very strong bond. But the thing is, it is behaving, but the behavior of oxygen is it is trying to pull the electron of carbon also.
Right. So it's not actually like stable. It's not stable.
Yeah, like in your family, your father has many relationships with his son, his daughter, his wife, correct?
Yeah.
Just think that his son is like, he has the proper bond, but the thing is his son is trying to become independent.
Right. So that'll be obviously, yeah, I got it. So yeah.
So any issue will be there, then he will be the first person to leave the house, right?
Yeah.
So this bond is strong. Carbon and oxygen bond is strong. But the thing is, oxygen from the beginning only it is asking carbon, can you give me electron? Can you give me electron? I'm little greedy. I want your electron because it is more electronegative. And electronegativity is nothing but it will try to pull others electrons.
Pull electrons, yeah.
So whenever you will rise the temperature, this bond will break fast.
Okay.
And this bond breaks fast means what will happen? Definitely the bond will go to what? Go to oxygen.
Yeah.
and it is not like homolytic cleavage, it will be heterolytic cleavage.
Heterolytic, yeah.
Correct. And if it will be heterolytic cleavage, carbon will get a positive charge, carbon electron got lost.
Yeah.
So what it will do now? So this carbon
It'll
has
form a double bond and release one hydrogen.
correct. This hydrogen will go and this bond will come here.
Right. So is it the beta one, the beta elimination?
Correct. It is
Yeah.
it is not elimination. It is hyperconjugation. This positive charge is stable through hyperconjugation, and this double bond you are getting because of the hyperconjugation.
Okay. Okay.
See, when elimination will happen, suppose I will give you CH3 and CH2X.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you give it alcoholic KOH.
Correct. And here is the hydrogen, CH2H. Now the alcoholic KOH, it will do what? So this is called elimination. Means
Oh yeah, you explained this like one group will come and one will go, but here like there's no group which is coming. It's just the formation of a cation and then carbocation and then like the hydrogen is going.
correct. So this is one step reaction.
Oh yeah, you told me this. You told me.
Because here it is the first we are giving what? You are giving energy. Energy means bond breakage has to be there. Carbocation formation has to be there.
Right. No, but yeah. But here there's no like group coming and group leaving. It's just like the group is leaving and then yeah.
Internally, it is arranging in such a way that it will remove one of the hydrogen and it will form double bond.
Yeah, sir. No, I got it now. Yeah.
Now, here, if the temperature is less, so what will happen? Oxygen and hydrogen bond is break first.
Okay.
So if oxygen and hydrogen bond will break, oxygen will get a negative charge.
Yeah.
Now, how it will become stable now? So it will see, okay, definitely when you will take this molecule, you are not going to take only one molecule, right? In practical. There will be
so it'll happen to many molecules, so like it'll connect to.
Now you need to decide like with what it will connect. Now just see, this is getting a negative charge because
So
of
the carbon group will get like the alkane will get a positive charge. Yeah.
Why it is getting positive?
Because the electron's trying to like pull like it's trying to pull the electron density towards itself.
No, because this carbon is connected to OH.
Yeah.
Oxygen oxygen will try to pull the electron from this carbon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I thought like because this is electron deficient, it will try to pull electron from oxygen.
No. Like the oxygen will try to pull from the carbon.
So this carbon it will try to attack.
Yeah.
Such that this OH will go out.
Oh, so like one side it won't be that stable. Like C2H5O, C2H5. So like the bond won't be that stable because it's fully negative and partially positive, right?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, that's it's kind of easy to break also, like when you give lots of heat.
Correct. And in this molecule also, this OH is trying to leave also, no?
Yeah.
So it will leave when someone else will come to that side and it will try to take the electron. And so it is already putting a delta plus on this carbon by keep on asking like, I want to go.
Right.
And here the carbon also like, okay, please someone help me because I want to leave this guy. And if I will leave, I will become positive. So if someone will give me electron, I can easily leave.
Right.
So oxygen will say like, okay, you are positive, you want electron, take my electron, I have extra, and do whatever you want. So he will give the electron, at the same time it will go. Now you will get this C2H5 O C2H5.
Okay.
Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. No. The formation of ether is nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. That's called SN2. Why SN2?
Because first like one second.
You remember SN2?
Yeah. First like that intermediate is formed and then like the OH will leave finally. Yeah, like SN2 is basically the one-step reaction, right? Where you have that really unstable transition state, not intermediate, sorry, transition state, and then like the leaving group will go.
Correct. So here we are having nucleophile, it will try to attack from the backside and
and then the X will go. Yeah. So there'll be like
same thing we did
version of configuration.
Same thing we did here, no?
Yeah.
We got a negative charge. So this will behave like a nucleophile and we got C2H5OH, correct?
Yeah.
So just make it CH3 and CH2. So here this carbon is getting delta plus. So it will try to attack this carbon at the same time this will go off. So it will attack from the backside. That's why it is called nucleophilic bimolecular SN2 reaction.
Right.
So you can just see here. So first thing, it is getting what? In presence of H2SO4 and you are giving 413 Kelvin. So H2SO4 will try to give is H plus ions, correct?
Right.
So if H2SO4 gives H plus, this will become H2O.
Yeah. The oxygen will become positive.
That means this is trying to live by
Yeah.
H2O as a living group.
Yeah.
And we are having one more CS3CH2OH and which has lone pair. It will try
Right.
to attack to the carbon which has the H2O bond.
Right.
Correct? This is little bit different from what mechanism we discussed earlier. Earlier, what we did, we didn't consider H2SO4. We considered only the energy and we broke the bond between oxygen and hydrogen.
Oh, so that's not the actual mechanism.
Correct. That's not the actual means. We are here can't say exactly like whether OH bond has to be break or C and oxygen bond has to be break.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
But that's why they gave H2SO4. Otherwise, they won't say H2SO4. No. Why they say H2SO4? Because
For H
H2SO4 will
plus.
provide us
H plus.
H plus. So that H plus, what it will do? It will try to this alcohol. It will try to take that H plus ion.
Yeah.
So this will become C2H5 H2O, and oxygen is positive. Correct.
Yeah.
Oxygen will try to liberate. Means it will try to H2O will try to leave. But the thing is, it won't go till the position this carbon doesn't get any electron from somewhere.
Right.
So this is the first step. Second step is we are having one more alcohol molecule. So that alcohol molecule will try to help this carbon such that this will go up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So now the nucleophile is nothing but the whole alcohol molecule.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Correct?
Oh, the full molecule only.
Yeah, this is from backside attack.
Yeah.
And later on it will get H plus, so it will liberate that H plus and it will become. Any doubt?
No, I got it.
So whatever reagent they used to give, there is a purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, next. So acid dehydration of alcohols to give an alkene is also associated with substitution reactions to give an ether. The method is suitable for the preparation of ethers having primary alkyl groups only.
Primary alcohol groups.
Why? Because it is SN2, no? It is going through SN2.
Yeah, so if it's like secondary or tertiary, then there'll be a lot of steric hindrance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now the alkyl group should be unhindered and the temperature should be kept low. What will happen if you temperature increases?
It'll form ethene. I mean, it'll form the alkene.
Yeah. It will form alkene. So otherwise the reaction favors the formation of alkene. The reaction allows SN1 pathway when the alcohol is secondary or tertiary, about which you will learn in higher class. I already told you, right? Generally CBSE doesn't tell. This is SN1.
Yeah.
Second, if it is secondary or tertiary, that I already told you, no? How the SN1 mechanism, why it is secondary tertiary will follow SN1. Because in SN1, the fast H2O will liberate, right?
Yeah, so then it doesn't actually matter, like.
Correct. And you are going to get a positive charge.
Yeah.
And that positive charge, we will see if it is a tertiary, it will be more stable. If it is secondary, it is little bit less stable.
It might even undergo hydride shift if possible.
Correct. So, however, the dehydration of secondary and tertiary alcohols to give corresponding ether is unsuccessful as elimination competes over substitution. And a consequence. Why? Now, can you tell me, now between SN1 and elimination competes. Why elimination competes?
Because in elimination is also one step, right? Yeah.
See, in SN1, what will happen? Let's suppose this is a tertiary alcohol. So H2 will liberate and you will get positive, right?
Yeah.
Now suppose this is tertiary, something like this. Very big R groups. Okay.
No, see, in secondary and tertiary alcohols, SN1 won't even happen, or like it'll be really tough for it to happen.
SN2 will not happen.
Oh no, sorry, this is SN1. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry. No, SN1 will happen. So no, basically elimination is one step and SN1 is two step, right? Is that why elimination would like?
No.
No. Oh.
So here just think that there are three groups, right? And in forming a what do we say? Forming a ether, we are using what? Same alcohol we are using again, right? As a nucleophile.
Yeah.
Just think that for SN1, if it is getting positive, then another same group has to come, no, to that center.
Right.
This carbon, it has how many? It has three bigger groups. Just think that I'm talking about this carbon. I will take one more carbon here. This has two hydrogens. Okay. I'll talk about this is first carbon. This is second carbon. So first carbon has three bigger groups and have a positive charge. Now my nucleophile is also predefined, right? It is nothing
Yes,
but
sir.
the same carbon, same molecule.
Yes, sir.
So again, it will have these many bigger groups.
Yeah, so it can only react like the way you've drawn it.
Okay. The next one is, this is one possibility. Next is, I won't take this molecule to this carbon because this carbon is already crowded with three bigger groups, right?
Yeah.
But I will take this molecule to react with this H plus.
Okay.
So what will happen? If I will try to react with this H plus, it will try to take it out and it will go.
Right.
And it will form a double bond here. So which will be preferable? Like having a very crowded one or just having a very crowded? Then
no, that's the second one.
Sorry, something like that.
Yeah, the second one, like where it reacts with the hydrogen and a double bond is formed. Okay. And the crowded group doesn't get attached.
Basically, we got something like this. This is oxygen, okay? One is this. This is due to SN1. And the other one we are getting double bond C and this. Which will be more stable? This will be more stable, right? This is more, because here there
less crowded and double bond.
Correct. That's why between SN1 and elimination will compete over SN1.
Oh, but only for second and tertiary, because for primary SN1 won't even happen.
Correct. And this is only for ether formation.
Oh, okay. Oh, this will happen, right?
Because for ether formation, we are having a predefined nucleophile.
Oh, yeah.
But in other reaction, let's suppose it was like CH3, and this is X. Here, if I will remove this, I will get a positive charge. Now I can take any small nucleophile, no? I don't have any predefined this nucleophile.
Oh yeah, so then it may not be that crowded necessarily. So then
I'll just get OH and it will connect. So this is normal SN1 reaction.
Makes sense, yeah.
Where we are having that electrophile can be weak, it can be strong also. But it's not necessary to be crowded, right?
Yes, sir.
But in case of ether, this is crowded and the nucleophile also something like that only.
Right.
Because the nucleophile is nothing but OH, correct? This same bigger molecule. Two same bigger molecule will come and they will make it is more bulkier. You understand the point basically?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. Now, can you explain why bimolecular dehydration not appropriate for preparation of ethyl methyl ether? Okay.
So bimolecular dehydration means removal of water from like two molecules.
No, SN2 they are saying.
Oh, okay. Is not appropriate for the preparation of ethyl methyl ether. So CH3 CH2O CH3.
Correct. Just think, no issue. You can be wrong.
I don't know. Is it because Like, is it not appropriate at any temperature or at like even somewhat high temperatures?
No, at any temperature they are saying.
I'm guessing it's because of easy formation of like ethene.
Biomolecular dehydration. Ethene, how?
No, not ethene, not ethene. Um,
See, they are saying dehydration, right? Dehydration in the sense you are going to remove a like H
remove
plus in presence
H2O.
of H2O.
Yeah.
You are going to have H plus, right? Like the way we see bimolecular dehydration. How we did, like something is there, then OH, and this is H, let's suppose. Then what we did, we are having H plus,
We attacked it. And then it became positive and then another
then we are going
nucleophile.
to have H2O, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, what will happen?
Then like in the previous cases, another molecule came, like an alcohol came, and then it acted as a nucleophile and it like helped remove uh, the H2O.
Okay. So basically it will become H2O, then another molecule of same type, right?
Yeah, the same. Yeah,
They will try to come here and this H2O will go.
will go.
So basically you are getting what? You are either getting same type, means CS3CH2 or CS3CH2, right?
Yeah.
Means diethyl ether you are getting, or if you will take methanol, you are going to get dimethyl ether. But they
Right.
are saying ethyl methyl ether.
Also, how do you get that?
Yeah. So to get this, we are going to study these reactions.
Also, you can't get it using the.
Bimolecular dehydration.
Oh,
Because
okay.
bimolecular dehydration will only possible
Work for like the same kind of
symmetrical,
molecule, right?
symmetrical ether.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. I got it. Start
Something
thinking
like
about
this,
it.
then it has to be like this only, such that
Oh.
it will be symmetrical around this O.
Oh, right. Because you're using two molecules of the same type.
Correct. Because the nucleophile is nothing
Oh.
but of the same molecule only.
Oh, I thought because they specified like ethyl, methyl, ether, I thought that was like some like reason only for that molecule.
No.
Oh, okay, okay,
You understood
fine.
it, right?
Yeah, now I got
Now
it.
we are going to study about Williamson synthesis. So here we can prepare unsymmetrical ethers.
Okay, so in the exam, if like we have to prepare a symmetrical ether, we should use biomolecular dehydration. But if it's like any other one, then we should use Williamson.
Correct.
Okay.
So Williamson, it is important laboratory method for the preparation of symmetrical as well as unsymmetrical. It can form symmetrical also. Like here, instead of RDS, you just put R.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay.
So in this method, an alkyl halide is allowed. But the thing is, here you can't prepare unsymmetrical.
Unsymmetrical, yeah.
That you
I
have.
got it. I got it, yeah.
But using Williamson synthesis, you can prepare symmetrical as well as unsymmetrical.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just think in this method, an alkyl halide RX is allowed to react with sodium alkoxide.
Okay.
So this is RO minus Na plus, correct?
Yeah.
If it is benzene O minus Na plus, that is called phenoxide.
Right.
And this is alkoxide. This is alkyl and oxides, right? Alkoxide.
Yeah.
Now, so what will happen? This O minus and here X. Now just think who can attack who? We are having Rx and we are having R dash O minus Na plus.
Okay, so the R in the Rx, the R will be delta positive and the X will be delta negative. So the oxygen in the RONA will attack the R in the Rx and then it'll liberate Na. So the the X minus will attack the Na plus to form NaX.
Correct. You got it. So it's basically will form R dash O R. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So ethers containing substituted alkyl group, whether it be secondary or tertiary, may also be prepared by this method. So the reaction involves SN2 attack of an alkoxide ion on primary.
Basically, R dash can be like it can be anything. So it can be R, can be like it can be anything
It can
basically.
be branch, it can be anything.
Okay, cool.
But we are going to bother about this O minus, right? And this is
Right.
called SN2 attack. Why? Because again, alkoxide ion, alkyl, no?
Yeah, like a transition state is there.
Correct.
It's a one-step reaction. Yeah, so. No, so, but if it's SN2, that means like the R can't be it can't be branched, right?
This one.
Yeah.
This will be normal, no?
So
That's
it
why they are
won't.
saying on primary alkyl halide.
Okay, it's written. Okay, I didn't say. Yeah, okay.
But this R dash can be anything
Yeah,
because
the R dash can be anything.
we are
Because
bothering about this O minus.
Yeah, the SN2 is anyway happening on the RX. Yeah, sir.
Okay, they gave this. If it could be branch also, it's possible, no issue.
Okay, sir.
So better results are obtained if the alkyl halide is primary because it is SN2, no?
Yeah.
So if the reaction is SN2, then if it could be primary alkyl halide, then that could be a better result. In case of secondary and tertiary alkyl, elimination competes over substitution. Please make a note.
So same as the last one.
Like here, what will happen?
Oh no, in the last one it was SN1, but here it's SN2.
Because it is SN2. Yeah, the reaction
Right.
will be
Yeah.
SN2 only.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So here what happens? In the previous case, it was primary alkyl halide, but here it is tertiary alkyl halide.
Yeah.
Correct. So in tertiary alkyl halide, what is the steps? Bromine will liberate fast, it will get a positive charge, right?
Positive, yeah.
And if it is getting positive, then I should think of any elimination because now this O minus definitely it can't come.
Yeah.
Because this can be a bigger group, no?
Yeah, exactly.
So this can't come because it is already surrounded by 3 bigger groups.
Also, like an H plus will come and like.
Yeah. So elimination will proceed faster. Why? Because elimination will try to see is there any terminal hydrogen I can just go and attack there. It will come here and this bromine will go.
Right. Yes, sir.
So beta elimination. That's why they are saying elimination competes over substitution if tertiary alkyl halide, if a tertiary alkyl halide is used, an alkene is the only reaction product and no other is formed.
Right. Okay.
So the reaction of CH3O minus, they get this. So it is because alkoxide are not only nucleophiles but strong base as well, because they behave as a very strong base. So elimination will be there whenever we are using a strong base instead of a nucleophile.
Okay. Yeah.
Base are nothing but nucleophile. That's true.
Yeah.
But base are, they will try to protonate. They will try to accept a proton.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So even in the example given below, it's the same thing, right? Because they're also saying, see, like there's a base which is the ONA, and like this is a tertiary. The R is tertiary. Like it's a tertiary alkyl, right?
What
so
is
that's why it's not appropriate.
Right? Yeah, correct. No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So are you saying something?
No.
Okay.
So they are saying the major product will be alkene.
Yeah.
Okay. But they are saying when you can form this product, but I want to form this product. So what will be my reactants? If I want to form this, what will be my reactant? So reactant will be nothing but this part can be O minus Na plus.
Yeah.
And this part can be a alkyl halide.
Okay. So you're asking how to do that?
Yeah, correct. So basically this will become my RO minus Na plus, correct? R dash is nothing but a tert butyl alkoxide.
Yeah.
But my alkyl halide has to be C2H5X. Sorry.
Right.
That is favorable, no? We don't have to restrict anything to this R dash because we are.
So basically we change the R dash.
Correct. Instead of this, we are having this O minus Na plus here, and here we are having this chlorine. Then it is favorable.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
We can form this, but the thing is, provided the reactants are different.
So basically, R dash can't be tertiary. No, sorry, R can't be tertiary.
Correct. Alkyl halide can't be tertiary alkyl halide.
Right. So secondary is fine.
Yeah, secondary somewhat fine, but we are preferably using primary alkyl halide.
But even in the question which you just did, it was secondary, right? Oh
No.
no, it was primary. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, yeah, it was primary. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Okay. Now what? They are saying phenol are also converted to ethers by this method. In this, phenol is used as phenoxide moiety.
What is moiety?
Phenoxide moiety means in case of oxygen, basically this is what phenoxide ion is, right? And whenever
Yeah.
you are using Na plus, any metal is associated with a phenoxide ion, that we consider to be moiety.
Oh, okay. It's just a name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here what happens? NaOH we are having O minus Na plus, right? And this has
Yeah.
to be primary. Getting no?
Sorry.
This has to be primary.
The R.
Rx.
Yeah.
If this is primary, I don't have any issue. But if I will say no, I will take benzene and X here and ROH. Can the reaction will happen?
Hmm. Wait, so wouldn't this just like wouldn't this become like phenol?
No.
Yeah, right. Because oh no, never mind. I was thinking of the opposite thing. Never mind.
Because this bond is not a single bond to break, right?
Yeah, it's partially doubled. It won't break only.
Correct. It won't break. So there won't be any reactions.
Yeah. No, I was getting like in haloalkanes, there's formation of haloalkanes, right? With using alcohols.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alcohol
I
is
didn't see the
fine,
X
but
side of
phenol
it.
it is not fine.
Right, yeah, okay.
Normal alcohol is fine because that is not a partial double bond or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I think physical properties and all we can discuss tomorrow. You are a very hard stop at 7 or what?
No, so if you can take 5 minutes. No, I just had some assignments to finish. That's why I was.
Okay, then physical property we can also discuss. No? Yeah, can you read?
Yeah, sure. The CO bonds in ethers are polar and thus ethers have a net dipole moment. The weak polarity of ethers do not appreciably affect their boiling points, which are comparable to those of alkanes of comparable molecular masses, but are much lower than the boiling points of alcohols. I think it's because of Yeah. The large difference in boiling points of alcohols and ethers is due to the presence of hydrogen bonding in alcohols. The miscibility of ethers with water resembles those of alcohols of the same molecular mass. Both ethoxyethane and butane-1-ol are miscible to almost the same extent, that is 7.5 and 9 grams for 100 ml water respectively, while pentane is essentially immiscible with water. Can you explain this observation? This is due to the fact that just like alcohols, oxygens of ether can also form hydrogen bonds with water molecule as shown.
Correct. Any doubt?
No, sir. You explained this in the alcohols part also.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now we'll see cleavage. So now the reactions, right? So the reaction is basically the only one that's called cleavage of carbon and oxygen bond. Because in ether we don't have any other bonds, right? We don't have OH bonds.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
on one side it is carbon oxygen, the other side is also carbon.
Also carbon oxygen. Yes, sir.
So we'll see ethers are the least reactive of the functional group. Why? Because on both the sides it's carbon only. Like it will see like, okay, which bond I will break. Both are equal to me.
Right.
In other case, in case of alcohol, this is different bond, this is different bond, right?
Yeah.
So the cleavage of CO bond in ethers takes place under drastic condition with excess of hydrogen halides. If you put excess of hydrogen halides, so what will happen? Basically, it will try to break a bond. So which bond has to break? Let's suppose I am breaking from here. If I'll break
Either
from,
one can break, right?
yeah, I will get RO minus. And
Yeah.
the other one will be RO plus, correct?
Yeah.
Now
The X minus the X delta minus will react with the R plus.
correct. Now the point is, the question you arise like either one can be break, right? Just think that
Yeah.
this R plus it is CH3 CH2 plus, and this R is C. Oh my god, just a minute. Something happens. Yeah, I was saying one is CH3 CH2 plus. Okay, this is the R. Okay,
Yeah.
let's suppose this is R dash, and I am breaking here. Now, depending upon the alkyl group, you need to break. Now, R dash, let's suppose that is something like this. So I just connected something like this. Now, just tell me which will be breaking, this bond or this bond? Use the logic.
Mm.
Break the bond, get the positive charge, check the stability of the positive charge. That is the logic.
Sir, it'll be the CH2 CH3.
This bond you are saying, this is 1, this is 2. Now tell me.
Because if the one if like the CH3 one breaks, then like it's a carbocation which
No, this is
doesn't
not
have
CH3. This
any other carbon donor
is
group.
color C.
Oh, it's tertiary. Oh, I thought it was. Oh yeah, then it'll be this one, the tertiary one.
Correct. So if I'll break here, I'll get
For
a
the same logic.
correct. So
Yeah, it'll be
just
that.
to
Okay,
tell you,
I thought
like,
it was CH3.
yeah, just to clarify your question, I just gave this. So you understood, right? From where it will break.
No, but so what if both sides are like primary carbocation? Like what if both sides are primary alkanes?
Correct. Then anyone can break. Like any side, it can break.
Then any.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we are breaking one. So it will get positive. This part will be negative. Hx is nothing but H plus X minus. So X minus will attack here. So Rx and the other part will be ROH.
Okay, sir.
Now this ROH, whatever we are getting, it will still react with HX.
Right.
So H2 will be
Okay.
go out and Rx will fall. So ultimately you are getting what? We are getting Rx only. Rx and H2.
Oh, what was the point of that?
No, we are not getting any alcohol. So this alcohol is like a, what is it?
Intermediate product.
भ्रम बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, like in, what do you say in English?
Illusion.
Illusion, correct. It's just a kind of illusion. Like we may think that okay,
Oh,
RX
okay.
will form, but the thing is ROH will again react with HX to form RX.
No, like you wouldn't even use this reaction for any conversion or anything.
Conversion. No, generally we can convert. No, like if you want to get alkyl halide from ether.
Oh, then you have to. Oh, but then you have to show both steps, not just the first one.
Yeah, you have to show
Okay.
both. Basically, this is nothing but if you are taking 1 mole, you should take 2 mole of HX.
Oh, okay.
So first mole will react, they will form this, right? Then
Yes, sir.
again another mole will react, you will form this. So if you will see, if you balance here, you will get 2 Rx, correct?
Yeah.
I am saying 1 ROR, 2 HX. So 2 Rx and 1 H2O. So here is 2 hydrogens, correct? Here
Yes,
is
sir.
1 oxygen. So H2O that got balanced. 2X, 2X, 2R, 2R. You got
Yes,
it.
sir.
So the reaction is ROR plus 2HX gives me Rx, that's 2 molecule, plus HX plus H2O.
Yes, sir.
So this is overall reaction split into 2 reactions. That's it.
Yes.
Now alkyl aryl ethers are cleaved at the alkyl oxygen. So why? Because here it can't break.
Yeah, because partially double bond.
Yeah. So it will break only from here.
Okay.
There is no point like you can break here. So in that case, you will get Rx and phenol.
Yeah.
No other possibilities.
Okay.
Because this can't be react again with HX.
Yeah.
Because to react again with HX means what? It has to break here and form X, right?
Yes, sir.
But this single bond can't be break, right?
Yeah.
So ethers with 2 different alkyl groups are also cleaved in the same manner.
Yeah.
So previous was RR. Now here it is, they are saying RR.
ROR dash. Yeah.
So now depending upon that, what kind of R and R dash, depending upon the positive charge stability, you are going to pick.
Pick. Yeah. Okay.
Next. Here they are saying the order of reactivity of this HX is HI greater than HBr greater than HCl. Means if you use HI, the reaction will be much faster than HBr than HCl.
Right.
It's nothing but the acidic strength.
Okay.
HI is more acidic, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the mechanism they are proposing.
Right.
Mechanism will be, so when this bond will break, because we are not giving any energy,
Yeah.
that means directly I can't break the bond. But here we are
Yeah.
having HI, we are having H plus and I minus, correct? So
Yeah.
often you'll see like there is a H plus
H plus will react and then, yeah.
and it will become positive. Positive means it will want to take away electron from one of the either of the alkyl group, right?
Right, right.
So now depending upon that, we will see like which will be better. Correct?
So yeah.
So now
In this case, okay, go ahead.
this I minus will try to react. This is the mechanism. You need to know this mechanism. So I
Okay,
minus will react, and this will be a SN2 reaction mechanism.
Yeah.
So SN2 will favor primary.
Yeah.
That means if it will try to react, this is primary, right?
This is not even primary. It's
yeah,
just
so it will be better.
right. Okay.
I minus 2 come and react with this, such that this will go. So
Okay.
CS3I you will get. Yeah, you are
So
going
next step. Yeah, that's what.
and CS3 CH2OH you are going to get.
Yeah. Okay, so it's SN2. Okay, fine.
This is SN2.
Yes, sir.
That means if I will tell you I am having one product, one reaction. Let's suppose I am giving C, CS3, O, C, CS2, CS3. Then which bond you are trying to break? This
Like
is,
for SN2.
yeah, the reaction mechanism is this one only.
Oh, then it'll be one.
No.
So, but SN1. Oh, these are all carbons. Oh my God, I keep thinking hydrogen. Sorry. Yeah. So then will be 2.
Why? Because now this will attack H plus, so it will become positive. It will try to pull the electron from both the sides, right?
Yeah.
Now, when it will break, because we are not giving any energy, we are giving only 2 reactors, right? This one and HX.
Yeah.
Now what will happen? Now we need to have I minus. Now that I minus will try to react, and that is SN2. So it will,
Sir, I got the logic. I just keep thinking that the one on the left is CH3.
okay.
I got it. So yeah, so.
So now they are saying this. The same thing they told, no?
Yes. Sir. Oh yeah, the exact same.
Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So electrophilic, I think we can cover. How much is there? Electrophilic. Hey, only these many, no? The chapter will get covered then.
Yeah, so then you finish it.
Okay.
So then tomorrow new chapter.
Aldehyde. Or shall we discuss this chapter on question answer?
No, so you start aldehydes because I still want to study this chapter once on my own.
Okay.
So if you ask questions, I won't be able to answer them properly.
Okay. No issue.
Okay.
So electrophilic substitution, right?
Yes, sir.
This is also very simple. Like these reactions, no, it will keep on repeating. See, if you are having OR, the way we discussed for OH, right?
Oh yeah, this happened in the previous chapter also.
Not previous chapter, just previous topic.
Oh, right.
Just about phenol, right?
Yeah.
Here also we are having OR. Instead of hydrogen, we are having R.
Right.
So if you have R, what will happen?
Oh no.
Again, there is resonance.
It'll be ketone. Sorry, it'll be ether. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It is ether. Means the resonance is there. Resonance is there in the sense it is still ortho-para directed.
Yeah.
Negative charge will come on the ortho and para positions.
Yeah.
Now we are going to study about halogenation. We already studied in halogenation in phenol chapter, right? Br2 in presence of water and Br2 in presence of CS2 and all, right?
Yes, sir.
Bromine water test, where we got all position, all ortho-para, bromine.
Yeah, sir. I remember.
So halogenation. So phenyl alkyl ethers undergo usual halogenation in the benzene ring. Anisole is nothing but ether.
OCH, yeah, okay.
Instead of hydrogen, we are putting CS3.
Okay.
Okay. So it is again ortho para directing, right?
Yes, sir.
So at ortho and para position, we are going to get negative charge. So in that sense, if you use bromine in presence of ethanoic acid, you are going to either para or bromo. Sorry,
Yes.
or ortho. And para
Ortho.
will be major because it is symmetric. Because anyway, we are not going to form any hydrogen bonding, right? In case of
Yeah, yeah.
any doubt.
No, sir.
Next one is Friedel-Crafts reaction. So Friedel-Crafts reaction is also simple. We already discussed. So what will happen? Anhydrous AlCl3. So AlCl3 is something like this. Sorry. Cl, Cl, Cl. And here we are having what? CS3Cl. CS3.
Yeah.
So this bond will break and it will go
Break
out.
and we go to Al, yeah.
So CS3 will have positive charge. And because of oxygen, it is getting ortho
So, but do we need to mention that AlCl4 is formed? No, right?
No.
Okay.
If they ask reaction mechanism, then you will show this.
So it'll be AlCl4 plus.
Correct. AlCl4 plus.
Okay.
So now here what will happen? This CS3 will get a positive charge.
And then the anisole will attack. Yeah.
Not unusual. From ortho or para position.
Yeah. Only the yes.
Because this oxygen, it has lone pair, but again, that is a illusion. That lone pair is already in resonance.
It's delocalized.
Yeah. Any doubt?
No.
But in case of it, if it is normal aliphatic alcohol, oh sorry, ether, something like this, then this will directly attack to this CS3 plus. Getting now? Because this is not delocalized.
And then no, but then which one will break? Because then it'll become O plus, right?
Correct. Now it will see like if it will break. So to break this, there has to be something. Either they give energy or they have to give something. So that
Right, okay.
that product will try to attack someone.
Oh, okay.
If they will give a nucleophile, a Nu minus. So it will try to attack a primary one because
Yeah.
this is SN2. So this will bond fast.
Right, okay.
But you know.
Yes, sir. And if none of them are primary, then it would be like elimination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now here they gave CS3Cl. Now instead of CS3Cl, if you will have CS3COCl, then what will happen? C double bond of CS3 will there.
Yeah, but the CO will get attached. Yeah.
Because again Cl will go and this carbon will get a positive charge. No?
Positive. Yeah.
From negative ortho and para position, they will try to attack.
Yes, sir.
Get ortho and para, but para will be major because anyway here also we are not having any.
No hydrogen bond.
Then nitration. So anisole will react with H2SO4 in presence of HNO3. Sorry, HNO3 in presence of H2SO4. Okay. So what will happen? This H2SO4 we are using just to make that this HNO3 is not that strong acidic.
Right.
It will not
Right,
easily liberate NO2.
No, wait, so can you repeat?
Yeah, it won't easily release NO2 plus.
Without H2SO4.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
H2SO4 is just helping it to release NO2 plus. So NO2
Okay.
here negative charge, here negative charge. NO2 can be here or at para position. So para will be better because here it will make cloudy in case of ortho.
Right.
Because ortho means what? CS3 and here NO2. N double bond. Sorry. N double bond, N plus and oxygen minus.
Plus O minus. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this will make it more cloudy. Any doubt?
Okay. No, sir.
So with this we covered the chapter. Only the thing is I didn't discuss about that theory part, right? Ether.
Which one, sir?
All theory.
Oh yeah, there was
This one.
So that I'll read it. So if I have any doubts, I'll ask you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Oh, so is the cyclone situation better over there? Like, is it really
now
bad?
it went off. Only the thing is it destroyed so many things, no? Like electric poles and all. So
oh no.
they resumed the power and all.
Right. But so your family and all are fine, right?
Yeah, everyone is good.
Oh, okay. Cool, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.